Good afternoon, good afternoon. Are you there, Debbie?
Good afternoon. Can you see me? Can you
I
hear
can
me?
see you, I can hear you.
Fantastic.
Wow, without a technical difficulty
No
for now.
technical
For
difficulty.
now, for
But
now.
well, yeah, let's not speak too soon.
Well,
How are you? How's your week?
Yeah, a bit crazy. About yourself?
Same as crazy. And if anybody's watching and listening, how's your week? Join in with the debate. We're going to be talking about some juicy things today, aren't we?
We are.
Again.
As always.
Again.
Well, it never stops, does it?
Oh.
It never stops.
Do you wake up in the morning and just think, what now? What, literally what's been going on while I've been asleep, and you wake up and everything's changed again?
I wake up not expecting things to be any different than what they have been now. I've got used to the fact that every morning I'm going to pick up my phone, look on the phone and just see insanity. I've got used to it now.
It's bonkers.
It is, and it seems to be always ramping up. I did always say that 25, 26 was going to be interesting times, and I think 26 is, we're only in February.
It's rotting up March.
Well, sorry, yeah, we're in March. I forget what even bloody date we're in.
Time's spinning forward.
And
anybody else feeling time's going quick?
Oh, it does go fast. It goes very fast. I was only saying this to my daughter.
It's not your age, though, is it?
No, I don't think it is, because even my daughter was saying, and she's 20 in May, that how quick it's gone for her. She's been in London now for 2 years. We can't believe how fast that's gone. So that's gone quick for her. So there's something unusual. Very,
and you're right. This is what I was going to say. People say to me, "Oh, yeah, but time it speeds up as you get older." But I've got sons that are much younger, and they're saying that time's speeding up.
You got a question here, Debbie. Are you no longer on UK Column News?
No, I'm not. No longer on UK Column News. But thank you for watching me on there, and
Absolutely.
Please carry on watching. There's going to be a lot more said. And just because I'm not there doesn't mean to say that I haven't got an opinion, because I have. Keep tuned. Nothing to see here. Moving along.
There's nothing to see in Iran, is there?
Oh. Where do you want to start with Iran?
I want to start with the same old script that we keep being played out. Now, they often. Do you remember in the COVID period, the media had this script, and it would be repeated. The same script was repeated. Okay, well, it's happening again. So let's just play this.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short-term.
Short-term.
Short-term. Short-term. Short-term and long-term.
Short-term. Hopefully this is a short-term pain. Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefit.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
This is a short-term disruption for the long.
No, Debbie.
It's mate. Honestly, when you see it compressed like that, and you take yourself back to protect the NHS, all of those. Yeah, honestly, it's short term. The curve, it's. But I put a post out on X about this is deja vu all over again. Yeah. Literally every single lockdown. No, let's not. I get fed up when people talk about lockdowns. Here we go. We're talking about energy lockdown. It's not a lockdown. It's a lock up. Yeah. In fact, it's home arrest. virtually.
Yeah.
It's you're restricted to your home. So everything that was done back then in COVID is exactly happening again. And people say to me, you don't think people would fall for it again, do you? And I go, absolutely yes, because they are, in more ways than one.
Well, we'll get into that, because I think this is really important that we discuss this, because this is a lot of people that we talked about it last week, where people are kind of screaming forward about this is the right thing to do for a regime change and this, that, and the other. But I personally, and I'm not an expert, I think, okay, it could be a regime change, but it could be a lot more than that. And I think it's a lot more than that. I think we are looking at the Great Reset.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, I think, you have to ask yourself, what is this all about, actually? At the end of the day, I'm seeing a lot of, I know that we'll probably come on and talk about it in a bit, but I'm seeing a lot of Christian videos, a lot of eschatological videos.
Yeah.
And it's almost like things are being engineered to mirror the Bible, in particular Matthew 24. I don't know how many preachers I've heard, the rumors of wars, it just seems to be playing out.
Yeah,
and I have to ask why.
I think they are using scripture against people here. They are literally, because people are seeing end days, but what if they're using the stories of end days to make you feel this is the end days?
There's millions of Bibles. The surge in sales of Bibles has gone through the roof as well. And of course, when you think about, you showed video last week, I think it was, of Trump everybody was laying their hands on Trump, and we've looked at his spiritual advisor. I mean, anybody, his spiritual advisor has now been appointed to the White House. So is very high up, as is Jared Kushner. More to come on him soon. But, this spiritual thing, you've got to ask yourself, this is very theatrical. It's very in your face. And the Christian nationalists, the Bible Belts, this is playing into what they are saying. And we know that Trump, I think, was it during his last office, I'm not sure if it was upside down, the Bible, but he held a Bible outside a church for the Abraham Accords. And somebody said that Bible was upside down. I'm not sure if it was, but clearly we've got a religious thing playing in.
Yeah, definitely. And did you see that Erica Kirk's been promoted as well? Did you see that?
I certainly did see that she'd been promoted. And also, in answer to that question, yes, I do think it is an entry to the New World Order, for sure.
I do. I think this is exactly how it's. These people are very strategic. I think we underestimate. Maybe we think it's all reckless stuff, but I think it's very strategic. They know exactly what they're doing. They know the damage it's going to cause every other country, and we are going to start panicking. And they want us to panic.
It's all planned. It's all of it's planned. I've written and reported about stuff for how many years now, and I don't want to be right. I really don't want to be right, but there's so many of my tin hats have fallen off my head, although I need them actually for protection now, because there's many that fall off, another few end up coming onto my head, and we go full circle, as we'll see later with shopping perhaps. But
yes,
we're living in an upside down crazy world.
It's insane. How about this insanity? Did you know that that dead people walk around with no legs? Did you know that?
Actually, I had heard a rumor online, but I can't remember the context. But yes, this is absolutely insane. Go on, and tell everyone.
Let's play it.
Denied it, but they were very strongly involved in all of the people that died through the roadside bombs, died and are right now walking around with no legs, no arms. Was denied it.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
Walking around with no legs, no arms.
Yeah, just walking around. Yeah,
you can walk with no legs. But seriously, I mean, this is, we've got American soldiers that are coming back in wooden boxes.
I know.
This is absolutely shocking. I mean, the leaders themselves, all of them, are, in my opinion, corrupt criminals. And, you know, I'm sorry for anybody that thinks that Trump or the king is going to come in to save us, or somebody's going to come in to save us, because there really isn't going to be anybody to save us, just yourself.
No, not at all. Did you know that as well? Trump has said the world respects us right now more than they've ever respected us before. Did you know that?
Well, you know, Trump is so, I mean, he is so self-inflated with his own ego. It just falls out of his mouth. He just wakes up every morning and, you know, he is amazing. America's amazing. We have great respect. We're doing really well in the war. We're ahead of schedule. Make America great again. I mean, you know, there comes a point where you think, actually, humanity versus the beast system. Completely agree, soldier. Completely agree. I mean, Trump, nah.
I think Trump's being used anyway. I think they know that he's very egotistical. He's a narcissist, and I think they're quite happy to use that character for their own advantage. And he plays it very, very well. He's looked a little bit more confused recently, I'll be honest, and he's looked a little bit more on edge as well at times.
Yeah, he had something. There was a picture of something on his neck.
Yeah, I don't think he's a well man.
No, I don't think he is either. And you know, you have to ask yourself, how many Donald Trumps are there, really? But he is a massive, massive character. So are the Iranian leaders in on it then? Good question.
It's a very good question, but would you be surprised if, you know, at the end of the day, if all nations are in on it? Because the Iranians, I think, have had facial recognition for a long time. They're already in the digital age. They're not some kind of third world country.
No,
you know,
no, absolutely not. I think we're living in times where it's very hard to discern anything, because you're seeing stuff and you're thinking, is that real or isn't it real? And sometimes it is real, but you dismiss it and you think, nah, that can't possibly be real, but it actually is. So this is the time for discernment, when people just have to go with their own gut feeling on what's true and what isn't true, because we're going to get so much thrown at us. This is only just the beginning.
Speaking of Christianity, let's play this little clip from Trump, because something's going to happen on May the 17th. I don't know what that date is indicating, but let's listen to Trump, because he brings this date up. Let me just play the clip.
To support this exciting renewal this morning, I'm pleased to announce that on May 17th, 2026, that we're inviting Americans from all across the country to come together on our national mall to pray, to give thanks, and we are going to do something that everyone said, like, that's tough. We're going to rededicate America as one nation under God. You know, a lot of people... Yeah, thank you very much. That's what I mean by the Spirit. It's so incredible to see it. I see it so much. I've never seen anything like it in 1 year. I thought it would take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to be where we are. We've done it in, I mean, really 10 months. We're at 12, but now it's just getting to a level that we've never reached before as a country. But that includes religion. I mean, and maybe that's part of the reason that we're doing so well. There's such great spirit. It's all spirit, and it includes religion. I've always said, you just can't have a great country if you don't have religion. You have to believe in something. You have to believe that what we're doing, there's a reason for it. There has to be a reason for it. We're all working and we're behaving. I mean, I behave because I'm afraid not to, okay? Because I don't want to get in trouble.
Interesting. I would like to know actually what God Trump believes in, to be honest.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, he was kind of, I find his body language very odd there. You know, it was quite like, after you'd said, you know, not terribly well. I thought, look at that clip again, and he was a bit vague. He was a bit vacant. He wasn't quite the normal Donald type. But this prayer breakfast thing, they all work together on a higher level. Look at the Antarctic Treaty Corona. He said, yeah, Frank, yeah. You know, you're right. And I'm so glad. Thank you so much, everyone, for putting comments on, because I did tweet earlier, come and join the conversation, you know, come and talk to us, mention God, and you get a round of applause. Yeah, I think we can all see which planet is he on. He's stupid. I think he's on a different planet to the one that obviously we're on, if we're on a planet. If we're on a planet, let's not go down that rabbit hole. But the whole thing is completely crazy, and it almost, you get this, what's the word I'm looking for? This, people get all behind it, and there becomes it becomes this fervor, this religious fervor. And he was talking a lot about the belief in religion, but he wasn't talking about belief in God. He just looked up. But he didn't actually mention God. He kept talking about religion, and we all know religion has just been constructed. It's a human construct. It's not about religion. But he talked a lot about, how many times did he mention spirit?
It's interesting, isn't it? It is interesting. So this has now moved forward from Iran have got nukes, and we must stop Iran having nukes. We must deal with a regime change and everything else. And now they're talking about that Iran is now planning revenge kind of terror attacks. So this could be false flag incoming kind of things, really, couldn't it, Debbie? You know, we you know, I'm being hypothetical, but we've seen it before. It's quite easily to get people on side if things happen on your own country. So
100%. And California is California is the US state to be, isn't it? I mean, that's the home of Hollywood, and look what's happened to Hollywood. But I think it's interesting that we're now looking at false flags. We're looking at black swan events, because there's something that the Telegraph brought out in, I think it was 2009, or it might even have been 2004. But the Daily Telegraph suddenly came up with these pictures of different locations, like Buckingham Palace in London, I think the Eiffel Tower in Paris. There was more locations over, you know, in the world, all being subjected to an Islamic attack at the same time on the same day. And it was called Operation Blackjack. And I've mentioned this before, because where did the Telegraph get this from? And all we could see were images of Buckingham Palace that had been bombed, and the Eiffel Tower that had been bombed, and all these landmarks that had been, the White House that had been bombed, all at the same time on the same day, because of an Islamic attack. So when you start looking back, but for those of you that don't know, you go onto YouTube, Maca Electric put it out and managed to capture all of the Telegraph images. But if you go onto a search bar and you put in Daily Telegraph Operation Blackjack, you'll see the article. But where did that come from? Everything's planned.
yeah, and they use humanity very, very easily, because if they can get you to believe something deeply, you'll fight for it. You fight for your beliefs. Look at what happened in COVID times. You can tell people would just literally, in their cognitive dissonance, would hold back on any other thought, and they would fight tooth and nail for science, because you trust the science. And that became the religion of 2020, if you like, for many. And they've used religion because it works. It don't matter who
it does.
It doesn't matter who you pray for. That's how cults work, you know. And Donald Trump himself, in my opinion, is a great psyop. It's a cult with a capital Q. That's my opinion. You know, people will follow this man, and they will argue and fight to you to the death over this. And it becomes very dangerous. It becomes very dangerous, where you cannot have an opinion against him. I lost subscribers last week from our show, and no doubt it would have been because of my stance on Trump.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I've lost subscribers, and I lost my mum at one point, really, to the argument of, look, mum, because my mum is a very simple Christian lady, and she goes to church and she has her beliefs and she says her prayers and she sings her hymns. And I said to her, Mum, think about it. I said, you were taking me to midnight mass, in the dark at midnight, to sing carols, to watch men in long black robes swinging incense, going up to an altar and chanting ritualistic words. Do you not think that is a little odd? And it really caused a conversation between me and my mum, because I was asking her a genuine question and she was really taking offense to it, because that was her belief. And like you said, people have their beliefs and there's nothing that's going to shake them. And it was the same for my mum. She said, look, I'm a simple person. I have simple beliefs and I wish to keep them. And that was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
But, you do have to ask yourself churches were originally designed for singing because of the acoustics. And now they seem to be ritualistic, ceremonial, altars. It just seems all a little bit dark to me now.
It's
That's much as my opinion.
Yeah, and we should all have our opinions. I think that's really important. We should not be frightened of having these discussions without getting angry with each other, because at the end of the day, this is where people start protecting their beliefs and they start getting irate. But I think it's about stepping out of that bubble of cognitive dissonance and just being an observer. And they use humanity very, very easily because they know how to do it. They've done it forever. So they know how to use us. So we'll go to war and people will die and suffer for their beliefs.
Yeah, they will. But like we will too, because, I've got my beliefs and I've got my red lines, and I will die rather than cross those red lines. Yeah, so we're all guilty of that, whether we're dissidents or whether we're compliant. We've all got our own red line. And I think, anybody watching in whichever country, wherever you are, everyone will have a different red line as to where they won't cross.
Okay, well, the red lines are coming in for the UK because of this situation, and one of the red lines is travel, because fuel prices have gone up. So let's play a little clip on that, and then it's something we need to discuss. And feel free, guys who are in the chat,
join in.
to join in on this, because this affects. Not everybody watching right now, by the way, is from the UK, but it will affect actually everybody probably in the chat, if you're from the UK or not. However, let's play this clip.
Since the conflict began, diesel up by even more. This level here, 15 pence higher in the same period since the conflict began. Lots of people asking why this has happened so quickly. Petrol retailers saying, look, forecourts only hold a few days' supply. As soon as that's sold out, they have to buy more, and at the higher wholesale price. We know, though, regulators of the government are keeping a close eye on this one. It's also been the most turbulent period for mortgages since the impact of the Liz Truss mini budget. Hundreds of products have been withdrawn in the past few days, and the average rate on 2-year fixed deals is back above 5%. Again, there's a week to go until a Bank of England rate decision. So some people asking why this has happened already. Well, mortgages are based on the bank's rate that gets decided next week, but also on government borrowing costs, the cost that banks charge each other, and those costs have been going up. This was the situation yesterday for petrol.
So I've noticed it. We live next door to a petrol station, and we noticed, we have diesel, and we know, don't we, that they want us to be driving electric vehicles. We know that because they can control electric vehicles as well. we know that they don't want us driving petrol and diesel, and the diesel's gone up to I think it's 160 next door to us now. Yeah. Mental.
No, it is, and people are talking a lot about petrol, and they're talking a lot. And I spoke to somebody on the forecourt of one of Tesco's forecourts a few years ago, who told me that they'd had a meeting to say that their forecourt was going to be used for military and emergency only. And I was like, really? No central vehicles, no delivery vehicles? And they went, absolutely. What, Debbie, you're not a Christian? I never said I wasn't a Christian. I follow Christian values. That's what I follow, Christian values. But it's not just petrol. But I agree, you know, this whole fuel thing, and it's getting people, especially up country. I'm hearing that there are queues at some petrol stations, and people are actually stocking up and maybe getting a couple of jerry cans as well. My message would be top up your tank. Don't let your tank get, it's a big hit. If you go down to a zero in your tank, it's probably up to £100 to fill it. So just top it up as you go is my advice. But I was interested because, as most people know, I'm on X and I'm quite open and quite provocative sometimes on X. But somebody else put a post up and said that nobody's actually connecting dots of this to your kitchen table and what's going to happen to you or your wallet in 30 to 60 days because there's a delay. So while you see the oil prices soaring immediately, what they'll say, and it'll go back to your video earlier of it's temporary. It's only temporary. Don't worry about it, folks. It's absolutely fine. Fuel prices go up and then they come back down again. However, we're going to have a delay. We're going to have a big, I mean, Russia must be rubbing their hands in glee because I think it was announced this morning that Trump was going to raise or lift sanctions from Russia so that they could provide oil to the rest of us and to make up for this loss because of the Straits of Hormuz. But this poster on X said that Saudi, Qatar, and UAE produce 30% of the world's fertilizer. So without fertilizer, I'm afraid you're not going to get food. No fertilizers, farmers can't grow crops, less food, prices explode. They also said that this time Iran is hitting 4 Gulf states, and that's going to mean increases on grain. It's going to mean countries like China are stockpiling wheat. But this is from an American poster. So what he's saying is that your $5 loaf of bread is going to go up to $9. Your $4 dozen eggs will be $8. And he estimates the weekly grocery run is about to cost 40 to 60% more. But it's not going to take too long. Well, it's going to take between 60 to 90 days for these supply shocks to reach your supermarket shelf. And by the time you find out, it's going to be too late and people are going to start panic buying, which is interesting because I went out purposely this week and I went to every single supermarket in my area, and I went to B&M and I went to Home Bargains, and I just was picking up bits and pieces, not just for me, but for other people. But really, it was to speak to people. That's what I wanted to do. So I was going in for a thing of toothpaste and literally speaking to the cashier or the person on the desk, on the customer services desk. And I was saying, are you seeing any difference in stocks and supplies? Or are you seeing that people are maybe picking up more? And you know what? Out of every single place that I went to, every single time they said yes. They were noticing that people weren't panic buying like you saw in COVID, when you see people with shopping trolleys ripping shopping trolleys off each other because they were full of toilet rolls. Yeah. So apparently they're not seeing that now. What they're seeing is people coming in the evening and quietly doing a shop, and they're making it a varied shop. So I said, you know, what can you see that is starting to go? Even my mother said that the shelves were looking not quite so well stocked. And I'm not saying that they are. There's plenty on the shelves, so don't panic, folks. There is plenty on the shelves. But the supermarkets are saying they saw a little bit of a reduction in pasta. They saw a little bit of reduction in rice and also nappies, because what you have to remember is that just because oil is not coming through the Straits of Hormuz and fertilizer and helium, but we think about goods that are made from oil, petrochemicals. So nappies, bin bags, freezer bags, all that kind of stuff, that's going to go shooting up in price because that's made from byproducts of oil. So yeah, the way hyperinflation works, beans go from, we're going to see stagflation, and we're also going to see shrinkflation. You remember when the Toblerone bar, Toblerone, let's not talk Cadbury's, what they're putting in chocolate. But you remember when bars, no, but you remember when you picked up a proper tin at Quality Street, and now you get a little plastic tub of just a few. We're going to get shrinkflation, and we're going to get a stagflation coming on. So all of this is going to have an impact on every single country in the world, but you may not be seeing the hikes and the shortages yet, because there's going to be a little bit of a delay. But certainly a lot of people are saying that in Dubai, for example, that people are having to stockpile water, because at the end of the day, it's a desert, and the only way that they've got water is desalination plants. So water in wood chip shops and takeaways sell used oil for diesel. I know where you're coming from on that. But yeah, diesel oil, where are we going to? The whole idea is that we don't travel, let's face it, because all those people that think they're being clever buying electric vehicles, when they switch the power off, they're not going to be so happy then, are they?
Yeah, and that's basically where we're at now, Debbie, isn't it? So we're already seeing these headlines appear, and it's very COVID in a way, where they're telling us, that we need to be restricting ourselves in certain ways, which is very convenient. So this war is very convenient for the 15-minute cities, the net zero plan, the 2030 agenda. All of this is very convenient, because all you have to do is raise the prices where we can't afford it, and then we'll be having heat pumps and electric bikes and be happy with a 15-minute city, because you can't afford that. And it's the same with the cashless society. It's not that they will remove cash. I mean, they conveniently take away the cash machines, but they make it easier for people to do without, don't they? That's how they get what they want. And we'll get into digital ID in a bit, because that's about convenience now as well, which they've conveniently announced this week again.
How soon though before you see save the fuel, protect the NHS, save fuel, protect the country, save fuel? That's what you're going to get. You're going to get this guilt. I can't go, I mustn't make 2 trips this week because I have to save the fuel because the military need the fuel. That's what it's going to be, all the whole guilt thing again.
Yeah, of course they know how to play us. They know how to play us. But if they price us out, if they can price us out, then it makes it even harder, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
I don't think the majority would go into lockup as easy as they did in 2020. But if they make it where it's,
if they haven't got fuel,
well, that's what I'm heading with it. Really, if they make it where it's so difficult to travel, the 15-minute city zones. I mean, Oxford have already got theirs.
No, don't stop me on. They've got 5-minute cities now. Remember, we put an article up on Camp 3 website.
5-minute cities.
5-minute cities. So they don't want us to drive.
No, they don't. They don't want us to travel.
No, I was saying this to my mechanic the other day, actually. I was saying, I don't think they want us to drive anywhere. He agreed. He said, no, they don't. They absolutely don't. That's where we're heading. They're pedestrianising Oxford Street.
But it's happening not just here. That's the thing. Again, it's lockstep. So that you can tell this is an agenda in a way, because you've got Thailand and Vietnam that are urging public employees to work from home. So we're again, this is all COVID, isn't it? We've got the Philippines ruling out similar measures as Pakistan, where they're telling them to do remote work again. And Bangladesh is doing the same. Australia's doing the same, and the UK.
And yet, when you try telling people, it's like COVID all over again, because we were saying right at the get-go, steering away from the injections, etc. We were warning people about the lockups back then. We were banging our heads on brick walls, and yet again we're banging our heads on brick walls, because we're trying to tell people, stock up a little tiny bit, because things may be in short supply. You might not get energy, you might not be able to take your kids to school and drive to work and go to Tesco's and take your kids to football. You might have to moderate, and still people aren't listening. Still still people are calling me a conspiracy theorist or a doomer or a gloomer or a fearmonger. No, it's nothing about fearmongering. It's about the truth, the reality, and just a friendly warning. And I'm saying to my family, keep your tanks topped up. Like, oh, here she goes again. I said, why would you think that I would want to bang my head against a brick wall over and over and over again? I wasn't wrong last time, was I? Although I wish I was. I wasn't wrong last time. So why would I want to do this again to be wrong for another time? I wouldn't, because I wasn't wrong. So why can't people listen? Why can't they just listen? But people don't want to listen, and they're still walking around with their eyes wide shut.
Have you noticed as well that Ed Miliband's been out and about again, and he's been discussing the conflict in the Middle East, and because he's Mr. Net Zero, isn't he? So this is perfect for him, eh?
As the oil's burning everywhere.
They drive me mad. I did see this clip though. I don't know who this guy is, but I just thought it'd be worth playing because this again ties into not just the fuel side of things, but it ties into the banking side of things. And I thought it was quite interesting. Just another viewpoint to listen to. And I think we should always be open to do that. So let me just play this clip.
Trump's war is a lie. It's not about regime change. It's actually a central bank reset. Let me explain. So sitting above the global financial system is the Bank for International Settlements.
What's the purpose of the Bank of International Settlements?
It has sovereign immunity.
What does that mean?
Major institutions invested in the BIS include the Federal Reserve and the New York Fed, the same institutions the legacy families allow the multi-trillion-dollar black budget programs to run through.
It's above the law.
It's its own country.
Right. It's its own country. It has its own police force. No one has the legal authority to move against it.
For years, the BIS has been openly pushing a new digital financial control grid.
So when we started the project, we articulated the following hypothesis.
Remember, since the 1970s when we came off the gold standard, we've been running on the petrodollar. The deal was the world would buy oil from Saudi Arabia in US dollars, enabling an economic boom in the region. And then Saudi Arabia would then recycle those dollars back into US assets to stimulate the US economy and preserve the legacy family's interests. But if you're about to move the world onto a new financial infrastructure,
by implementing the corresponding banking model on a programmable platform,
we have one common blockchain.
We can increase efficiency, lower costs, and reduce risk associated with cross-border wholesale payments.
You don't need that system forever. You need a transition event.
They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. They can't.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is, Debbie, personally. I think we are literally seeing the Great Reset.
100%. 100%. And I think, central to a lot of this is Dubai. Because Dubai is effectively the equivalent of the City of London for the UAE. Because it's the bank manager of my bank, yes, because I refuse a large. There you see, we're even getting the banks. Well, this is what I was coming on to, actually, is the banks. Because in Dubai, HSBC, they've closed down all operations. Many of the banks have closed down operations. And what they're saying is the money that was invested into Dubai, because don't forget, Dubai doesn't produce oil. So where you think, oh, Dubai, oil, it doesn't produce oil. It's the financial center for the UAE. So it's like the City of London, right? So all of these banks are moving out. And I think some people or some financiers are thinking that all of this money, as it's moving out, is coming to the City of London. But it isn't. It's going out to Singapore and Hong Kong, which seem to be better bets. It's going to the east. Now, Singapore and Hong Kong aren't members of BRICS. They're neutral. However, China, Iran, they're all Russia, they're all members of BRICS. So you can see all this money moving out of Dubai, moving east. So it's like a game. It's almost like looking at a game of Risk. And while I'm talking about Dubai, Isabel Oakeshott, if you happen to be listening, I've been watching you reporting from your home in Dubai with your children and saying that how safe it was and that you weren't going to leave Dubai and it was safer than London. Your kids were there, but you were there for the money. At least you were honest. But I'd like to ask Isabel Oakeshott, how come my friend, her son is still stranded in Dubai, desperate to get home, and yet Isabel, who thinks Dubai is the best place to be, is all of a sudden back in the UK? Now, it's interesting that Richard Tice went out to Dubai because, of course, they're getting married, Isabel and Richard. Richard Tice, Deputy Reform Leader, MP. So Richard went out to Dubai on the premise of seeing Dubai financial or foreign minister. But was he really going out, Isabel, to bring you home? Because with his status as an MP, he was more guaranteed of a flight. And you said, Isabel, that it was temporary. So could I ask, will you be going? Because you're coming over, I believe, Isabel, for an event on Saturday with your partner, Richard. So does temporary mean you'll be returning to Dubai on Monday? Or will you be staying in the UK for a little while to wait and see what happens in the UAE? I'm just asking because you said you had staff there that you had to think about, and you had business interests that you had to think about, and I'd just like to know what Isabel's plans are moving forward, because it seems we're getting a lot of stories coming out from UAE. We're getting the control from the government saying that you must be careful what you post. Don't post anything that's negative because we're worried about real estate. I have very close friends that immigrated to Dubai in October. They are back because they said it's nothing like what you see on social. Thank you, Batman Robin, for saying that, because I've heard that from other people to Dubai. I mean, Dubai is an interesting place to look at the moment because it seems that a lot of the news that's going on we're not seeing. So let's see. And yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Batman
Thanks,
Robin.
Batman. You're a good man yourself, mate, and it's good to know you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Dubai, an interesting place. Be interested. But Isabel, if you're watching, let us know what you're up to. Are you flying back? And if you are, can you find out how many seats there are coming back this way so that my friend's son can come home, please? And if you want to go and look at the comments on Twitter, on X, go and have a look at my X post, because I have put a message out to Isabel. I haven't been blocked yet, but equally I haven't received a reply. Just saying.
Also, with regarding, because I'd like to close off the Iran thing quite quickly now, because we've already talked 40 minutes on, because it does affect us. We can't avoid it.
Big time.
It really does affect us. But these people are psychopaths that are and I just thought, we played a bit last week, and I just want to play one more. There's loads I've got that we can tear into, but we just don't have the time. But I just think it's ludicrous. This is the White House. White House put this out.
Holy what? 10. It's out of the park. Down. Knockout. Slam dunk.
I don't think we need to play any more than that, really. It goes on a bit longer, I mean, it's just sick. It's absolutely sick.
Did you see that Skittles shot right at the end?
Yeah.
There was a very interesting symbol, I thought, there.
And, I wasn't looking closely.
Well, I saw the Skittles. I might be wrong, but I saw one brown Skittle and the rest were white Skittles. I might be wrong, but I think, number one, it's absolutely shocking that the White House could put out anything like that. But quite frankly, it shows the mentality. We're talking about children. These are children, very dangerous children playing very dangerous games. But honestly, I don't really know what to say about it. But I think if you go back and look at it again, and that's the first time I've seen it, but I think if we go back and look at it again, I think there's probably more in it than meets the eye if you look at it a bit more closely.
Yeah, no doubt. They're always using symbols. I haven't looked at it in that much detail. I just thought that they've done a couple this week, actually, the White House. They've sent a couple out. Very childish, kind of, but sick. Really.
Dangerous.
And
yeah.
Iran's actually done one about America as well, and it's just ridiculous. People are dying, and children died. Let's not forget, 160 plus children never came home that day.
No.
You know what I mean? And then you've got Trump, who's basically saying that Iran did it. you know. But the Tomahawk missile, apparently, again, I'm no expert. People will tell me more, but they know it's a Tomahawk missile that hit the school, and he's saying Iran did it, but apparently America only deal with certain countries with the Tomahawk missile. I don't know if that's true or not, but Trump's trying to say that Iran did it, not America. But it's just sick.
It honestly is. It's gross. But you know, but this is what I mean. Nobody really knows what's going on. And going back to that video, you know, you're looking at a golf course there. They're making fun of it. They're treating war like it's a game, like it's just a game, and nobody matters. You know, I don't know how true this is, and I'll say it out front. I don't know how true this is.
Yeah, we don't.
But I've been told that there are many, many more American bodies coming back in boxes than is being reported. And for Trump to stand there, for anybody to stand there and brag about how well you're doing when one is too many, not how many they've killed, that's a completely different ball game. But how many of your own have you killed as well?
They don't care.
They're ridiculing, they're laughing at us.
They don't care. This is the thing. So do you think that we're going out there to help the Iranian people? They don't even care about our own people. Why would they give them monkeys?
Of course they don't.
They don't care.
No, they really don't.
Let's move on.
More to come on Iran, though. More to come. Every
without
morning,
doubt. Let's move on to one of your topics that you're more familiar with, Debbie. What's going on with this here?
Right, so I've been warning about antimicrobial resistance. I know it's really boring, folks. However, they're looking for new drugs to fight superbugs because antibiotics, they reckon, aren't going to be enough to cut what's coming. And we'll look at what's coming in a minute. So you can see there that they're very worried about drug-resistant infections. They're saying that the number of projects has literally dropped and nobody's really done much research into antibiotics. And what are we going to do? Because if vulnerable people get infections, such as people with cancer, elderly, then basically they're dead. So they're saying many people die. 1 million die every year from antimicrobial resistance. Now, this isn't just, when you say antimicrobial resistance, we're talking, you know, most people think antibiotics and infection, but we're actually talking about parasites. We're talking about antifungals. We're talking about antimicrobials. So there's a whole range. And what they're saying is that we're going to get disease X. So this is a place marker, if you like, disease X. What's disease X going to be? Well, it's going to be a bit of this, a bit of that, but they've been hunting for it, hunting and hunting and hunting for it for years. Bill Gates has got out a germ team, literally men in white suits going out looking for disease X. But of course, we've got so many different things going around at the moment, different scares, all sorts of different infections. So here we go again. You see, experts have warned this unknown disease could produce potentially a future global pandemic. Disease X. And it would be really, really convenient, wouldn't it be, if disease X was resistant to some of the drugs that we've got available to us now. And the thing is with antimicrobial resistance, even though it sounds really boring, it's a really, really big money spinner. A lot of companies, AstraZeneca and GlaxoSmithKline in particular, have invested a whole lot of money into antimicrobial resistance. The United Kingdom have even got our own UK envoy, and that was Dame Sally Davis, who's a hematologist who really came from nowhere. She wasn't really anything. She was the one that said if you went anywhere near Novichok, wipe your hands with baby wipes. You know, she was the one. She used to be chief medical officer before Chris Whitty. So we've got our own envoy, and the whole thing is now focusing around antimicrobial resistance and what are you going to do if you get an infection. So they're starting to educate the public. We've had antibiotic, a whole campaign for kids. We've had don't go to your doctor for antibiotics, don't ask for antibiotics, people are overusing antibiotics. Well, it's funny because the UK actually are one of the only countries that use prescription antibiotics, because a lot of countries you can just buy them over the counter. But They're warning the public not to use antibiotics. But now, would you believe, I saw this article that come up in Medscape that said to health professionals, hey, why don't you take our test on, or take our survey and take our test and answer a few questions on antimicrobial resistance, and you can win tickets to dun 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 Lifeline, which is a play. Unbelievable.
Well, that's the quiz, isn't it?
There's the quiz. Now, this is only open to health professionals, so we can't all grab our tickets, but you take the test.
And then this is the show, is it?
Yeah, the show. I mean, it's global, but we're especially looking at March. But listen to what they say here.
The discovery of penicillin gets a delightful twist in terms of casting. Real-life medical industry workers are also in the show. Dave Carlin covers arts and entertainment and takes us behind the scenes of Lifeline, the musical.
This musical was a big hit in Scotland, and now it's here. It mixes history with current events, and it features a cast that includes some real-life heroes of medicine and science.
Future generations must take on the responsibility to protect antibiotics.
It's a musical kind of blurring a real-life story of Alexander Fleming, the discovery of penicillin.
Call it early. That's the main thing.
Call it what you will. It is a wondrous thing.
On that stage with you on any given night are 12 medical healthcare professionals.
Nurses, scientists, doctors. Yeah, it's incredible. They live the life. What we're doing and replicating, that's their day-to-day life. We bring together a bunch of...
Well, it looks really exciting, Debbie.
And at the end of that little video, they talk about antimicrobial resistance. But here again, you've got doctors and nurses, and apparently we've got a shortage, who are all dancing. Check out the article that I wrote about dancing into disaster and how significant dancing is and ritualistic. Dancing in a musical, you go to Lifeline and you learn about antimicrobial resistance. So this is programming. This is, I know, I can't believe what I was seeing either, cheeky sprites, because, you know, you think you've seen it all. You've seen doctors incentivized for giving jabs. You've seen people incentivized for taking jabs, whether it be with a donut or a McDonald's or whatever. Now you're seeing doctors and nurses incentivized into winning tickets to be programmed into an agenda that, quite honestly, is a scam, right? It's a scam. So this is the next thing coming down the line. Yes, probably is what the TikTok nurses were practicing for. And don't forget crisis casts as well. And anybody can just page into, oh my God, penicillin the musical. Yeah, exactly. But anybody can just page in to a search bar, crisis cast, and you'll see all the actors and actresses that are taking part. They're working for the Ministry of Defence, they're working for the NHS, they're working for the Home Office, they're working for 10 Downing Street. These are all performances, folks. So the next big scam, the next big scare, health-wise, in my opinion, to come down the line, because they've been working for it for ages, is antimicrobial resistance. So do you want to take the test? Do you want your free tickets to Lifeline? No thanks, lovey.
Sounds absolutely awful.
No, you can't make it up, can you? Can't. You literally can't make it up.
Well,
how many other places will you see Lifeline? But it's coming to London, Southwark on, I think it's the 26th of March this year. So only in a couple of weeks, it's coming to Southwark if you want to go and have a look.
I think I'll give that a miss personally, but
I am too.
You know, if anyone goes, then please let us
know
how good it is. Is any reviews?
Yeah. Penicillin nearly killed my mum when she was young. You know that I have relatives that are allergic to penicillin, so you will get people that are allergic to penicillin. Of course you will. Serious adverse reactions, exactly the same. But I have to say that antibiotics have saved many lives as well. I mean, genuinely, honestly. And there are some situations where you do need antibiotics. I had MRSA antibiotics and nothing. Now, antimicrobial cream work. Now, this is interesting because a lot of people are saying to me they're taking antibiotics and they're not actually doing what they should be doing. And the doctors are saying, oh, that's because this is resistant. But what I've been hearing is the manufacturers have been putting less of the active ingredients into the antibiotics. So what you're actually taking is a very low dose. You're being told maybe it's a 250 milligrams or 500 milligram tablet, but is it? So a lot going on with antibiotics. Keep your eyes out, ears open.
Digital ID is back, Debbie.
Who?
Digital ID. So we never, you know, we talked about this. It was never going away.
Oh,
Anyway,
don't that man.
I know. Where's he come from?
Oh, is he grown up Harry Potter? Sorry. No. I tweeted him actually that I thought he was talking bullshit.
Oh, you know what? I can't listen to him for too long. However, I think it's important that we see what they're doing here. There's so-called consultation where they're having so many people that would talk about this digital ID, and they have basically, we know what it's about.
Yeah.
We know what it's about. It's for the majority of people that watched our show, I would imagine will know that it's about control. So they're making it out to be this wonderful little system to help you with your services, you know, and you can make life a lot easier. There's a little clip with our Harry Potter friend, actually. What's he called? David Jones. You can do this quicker than, what is it? Making a cup of tea, I think he said. Did you see that, Deb?
Yeah, I did.
Well, for those who have not
I
watched
replied to
it,
him.
Oh, good. I'm glad you replied to him.
I did.
I'm glad you replied to him. But, you know, I do apologise for anyone that maybe gets irritated with certain voices. Because Darren's voice irritates me a little bit. I'm sorry, Darren. It just does.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. Here we go.
In the future, you'll be able to get all of your government admin done in the time it takes to make a cup of tea. If I look at this example I've got here, you can see some of the tasks you're going to be able to do in the future. So I can open it here, I can see that my vehicle tax is due to be paid pretty soon. I'll be able to just go straight to pay now, see the amount, and pay using my phone. Pretty easy. I can also see that I've got eligibility for childcare funding. I can check what my local bin collections are based on what my council is telling me. And if today were polling day, for example, if you wanted to, you'd be able to go along and use this ID as opposed to using your passport if that's what you'd like to do. I can also then make sure that if I've got a new job to go to, I'll be able to share those details and make it very simple, as my right to work check is being digitized from 2029. All in the time it takes for the kettle to be boiled. Now, the important point here is that digital ID is what makes this happen, because digital ID is how you will log in and prove who you are on the gov.uk app. It brings all of those services together onto your phone, and that's why it's different than logging into different websites across government in the way you have to today. But we want to build this in the way that works for you and so that you want to use it, and that's why we're consulting on how digital ID will be built and used in the future. If you want to take part in that, just search Digital ID Consultation and let us know what you think.
He makes a shit brew as well. Did you notice there's a shit brew?
Oh, do you know what? Gone are the days of putting the kettle on and going to the biscuit caddy to have your bickies ready with your cup of tea. I mean, what he said there? He said to do your government work. Well, is that what he's paid to do? Check his road tax, pay his road tax, make sure he's, is that really what he's paid to do? And I've always said, scrap the app trap, because the minute that, and we'll talk about apps, I know you're going to talk about apps in a minute, but app trap, this is an app track, and people say this is control over convenience. So the government are taking control because it's also convenient. Well, I'm sorry, but it's not convenient. It's not. I do not want to upload an app. I am sick of being told PIN numbers, security passwords, do this, do that. I don't want apps. I want to be able to pick up a phone and speak to somebody, or go into somewhere and speak to somebody face to face. I do not want to have to speak to an app, a bot, or any of these things. And I can think of far better things to do when putting the kettle on than doing all of those things, because it's not convenient. It's inconvenient. I didn't get my DVLA reminder through for tax, and I panicked a bit and thought, oh, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? So they said, oh, you know, you can pay online with your vehicle registration document. I couldn't be asked.
No.
I just couldn't. I wanted to get that. Luckily, the reminder came and I went to the post office and I paid it like I normally do. And it was fine. But this is not convenient. It's far more convenient for me personally to have the peace of mind to know that I'm going to get a piece of paper through the post and I can go to the post office and I can just pay and it's done. And I haven't got to navigate my way through all these stupid apps loading different parts. No, rant over.
No, rant away, please, because it's important.
AI agents are coming next, you know.
Of course they are, but they're already here. You know, we could build a whole show on AI agents easily. I will say this though, my friend Fiona Rose Diamond has probably done more research into this digital ID than anyone I know.
She's excellent on
And
digital ID.
one thing she will say is, it's the government wallet that we need to be very, very careful.
Very careful.
Because all these things will tie into that Gov wallet. We have to be very, very, and basically, at all costs, do not download the Gov wallet. Don't have it. End of. You know, because
Fiona is the expert. I mean, Fiona has been campaigning, and if anybody doesn't know Fiona's X account, they should go and see her X account, because honestly, she's done so much work on this and it is coming in literally by the back door, as we all knew that it would. And this is where people's red lines are going to matter. It's, what are you going to do? I mean, I've only got a couple of years left on my driving license before I hit that 7-0. And then I've got to apply for a new, well, I'm not going to give my biometric data. So does that mean then that I have to relinquish my driving license? Well, yeah, it does. Your eyeball will replace passports. Yes, I know, your iris.
Well, this is the thing.
Will replace that. It is, no, I'm not giving my biometric data, not willingly anyway.
It's reported on GB News that there's a buried digital ID clause that lets police turn your photo into a mugshot for mass facial recognition database. Now, they're saying, obviously, that there's nothing to do with, and the police can't get hold of it, but there is actually some wording in there which will allow the police to have access to it. And facial recognition is going everywhere now.
Yeah.
Literally
and
everywhere.
Also retrospective. So when you see these vans in the middle of the high street and they say, oh yeah, don't start me on Palantir, soldier. Don't even go there.
That's a full episode in itself.
That's 2 episodes, Palantir. Interesting to see Peter Thiel's taken a lot of it. Anyway, we won't go down that road. But retrospective facial ID. So you've got your vans in your high street and they say, well, don't worry, all of this data is erased. You know, you just walk through. And if you happen to be, number one, it doesn't always work. And number two, people that are not guilty of anything are being reprimanded or they're being detained. And number three, they say they get rid of the data. Watch Sam Williams on YouTube, Swilliamism, because he looks very closely at the facial recognition and retrospective facial recognition. So they take pictures, but they do keep them, and in future they can go back to them. So I can see how they can use a mugshot.
Debbie, deep breaths. You've got a question coming for you. Okay. Think before you say anything.
Sometimes, you know, I think silence is better than saying anything. So I would say silence speaks volumes, and I'm a lone wolf with you. We're lone wolves for a reason, aren't we, Ant? That's what I'd say to that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question.
Yes.
I'd hang on to every penny at the moment. I'd go and spend it on a bit of stocking up or a bit of fuel, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of apps, money, banking.
Ooh. You've seen what's happened this week.
Yeah, well, let's just bring this image up. So this image appeared on some social media yesterday, and basically people using the HBC app, it was showing other apps that are on your phone, and it was refusing to give you access to your banking details via the app, which is a little bit concerning, is it not?
Very concerning. And, you know, to go back to the previous message and to the app too, it's our decision how we spend our money. You know, it's our money. and it's our decision. And yet we are being told by banks that we're not allowed access to money. We're restricted as to how much we can take. I can't even put 10 quid in my grandson's account. You can't even deposit money in an account now because it's all seen to be money laundering. But at the end of the day, it's your money and you should decide how it's spent. You shouldn't rely on anyone else to tell you how to spend your money. And quite clearly, we can see this going forward, can't we? You know, if your body mass index is over above, you're not going to be allowed to buy a chocolate bar. If you're a smoker and you've got to have a surgical procedure or a test, you're not going to be allowed that without stopping smoking. You're not going to be allowed to buy any tobacco products. So you're going to be limited into what you buy. And I think this is very important, that people, they maintain that autonomy and that sovereign right to spend their money as they want. So far from me to tell anybody how to spend their money. The secret is to stay with having that choice and that freedom to be able to do that, I think, and to discern.
Yeah. And keeping on the theme of apps as well, some people were logging onto the Lloyds, Halifax and Bank of Scotland yesterday, and then they were, well, there's an article here actually, let me bring it up. It was in the Telegraph. So let me just share this and then you can see. So basically what was happening is they were seeing other people's data.
But you know what, we've been warning about this for ages, and I did put out an X post, and I can't understand why people want all of their personal information, their financial information on a phone, which could get hacked, lost, broken, stolen. Why would you want to keep all of this data in one place on your person that could be snatched or lost or whatever in a heartbeat? I don't get it. And you know, we will do a program on AI agents, I'm sure, but this is all now to say, oh, you know, guys, maybe you should all convert to AI agents because we can't be sure of where you're uploading this app from. So none of it's going. Just don't upload any apps. Just get off the phone. Make your mobile phone immobile.
I see Chairman Starmer was in a nursery yesterday. Did you see that?
Does that man, does nobody think I couldn't, well, run the video? Have you got it?
I've got the video. I thought,
how could he be in that place? In children, he even said to one child that was crying, "Oh, I'll be finished soon."
Well, here we go. Let's play that one. I've got that clip. If nobody's seen it.
The second thing is, I've asked the Treasury Minister to talk to the executive here about particularly the heating, oil-based heating in homes, and how we can coordinate our response to this because of the prices increasing because of Iran, and get our arms around that. Then the other thing I'm worried about, I know I'm nearly finished. The other thing I'm worried about is that you know, some people are getting ripped off in the costs of the oil to heat their houses, and we've got to bear down this thing.
Didn't he also, I mean, I've not seen it. Yeah, didn't he announce the Mandelson thing?
He announced, yeah, he apologized for the whole Mandelson thing. And you know, I actually wrote down this morning, because it was published this morning, but apparently Starmer allowed Mandelson's friends, who were McSweeney and another one, Doyle, I think it was, to vet him. So mutual friends of Starmer and Mandelson's were allowed to vet him. Now, Starmer says that he's sorry about all of this, and he apologizes he's made a mistake in the appointment of Peter Mandelson, because not just of national interest, but let's not forget the Epstein and him being found in his underpants, photographed in his underpants. And yet he's delivering all of this in a children's centre. Are you serious?
Mental.
I mean, honestly, to anybody watching from another country, this is who is running our country at the moment. It's mad.
Well, he isn't, but he's the puppet that is being shown as the leader of our country.
Honestly, it's shocking. But you know what? The worst thing is that all of these reveals have come out about him not being vetted. Mandelson was never vetted, and he was vetted by Doyle and McSweeney. Yeah, well, this was all released in private emails and private WhatsApp messages. So now what they're saying is, can we access that? Because these are two people that have already gone. McSweeney and Doyle have gone. So they're now saying, how can we access these people's private WhatsApp messages and private emails? Maybe we'll never find out. But they were absolutely vetting, that they were given the job of vetting Mandelson. And yet there was another advisor, Glassman, I think, who said, no, don't. You need to reverse the decision, but nobody listened. It's shocking. It gets worse and worse by the day.
How's he still in a job?
How's he still Lord Mandelson? I mean, Lord Mandelson is still Lord Mandelson, yet Andrew is no longer Prince Andrew, and all that links all of this is Starmer, and Starmer's still in the job. How is he still in the job? How?
Wasn't it a few years ago he was desperately trying to get
Boris
out of a job? Let's have a little reminder on how Starmer behaved then.
Mr. Speaker, so we've got the Prime Minister attending Downing Street parties, a clear breach of the rules. We've got the Prime Minister putting forward a series of ridiculous denials which he knows are untrue. Yes. A clear breach of the ministerial code. That code says ministers who knowingly mislead Parliament will be expected to offer their resignation. The party's over, Prime Minister. The only question is, will the British public kick him out? Will his party kick him out? Or will he do the decent thing and resign?
Did you see Angela Rayner releasing the COVID on everybody by bringing a mask down?
Honestly, I mean, it's so talk about pot calling kettle black, but it's when you've got eyes to see and ears to hear, and you look at the Palace of Westminster like that, and you see the House of Commons, you see how theatrical and almost like a pantomime it is, how it's acted. You could see Boris kind of looking down when Keir Starmer said, the party's over, and Boris with his, it's so staged, managed. It's a massive, great production.
Of course it is. It's theatre. The whole thing is theatre. Yeah. It's pantomime all the time, and most people just fall into that kind of thing because it gives you you think that you've got a choice.
Yeah.
And you don't have, unfortunately, we don't have a choice. We just have a bunch of psychopathic PDF files running the world.
But it's true. And the thing is now is that everything that was being done in the last 6 years has all been done on. Oh, did you see someone's been arrested for saying something on Zoom? So Zoom now, I mean, crazy. But we can't get any access to the WhatsApp, the Zooms, the meetings, all that went on 6 years ago because there's no record of anything anymore.
Sure,
no record.
Of course,
no
it's
blame.
A bit like the blueprints of going to the
nothing
moon.
To no, nothing.
They disappeared. Everything has disappeared.
Like
the $1 trillion that vanished just before 9/11, and you know what I mean. All that kind of stuff. They're very, very good at hiding things when they need to. But the problem being is the public, with their apathy, tend to, and not just their apathy, that would be rude, but because we're kept so busy, so stressed, etc., etc., we do not see it enough, or we don't feel it enough, because we're just trying to get through our day. And that's how they keep us. Yeah.
Everybody's just surviving. And that's why I say it's very important now. And I think more people are seeing what is going on. More people are becoming aware of it. But what it's going to take to when everybody sees, I think that's going to be the day people go to the ATM. Sadly, it all comes down to money. I thought it would be when they jabbed the children, but that wasn't the point. But when people go to the ATMs, they find they can't pay their mortgages, they can't get cash out of the bank, they can't get food for their families. That's when people are really going to see everything. And I think some people are just, they're going to need us for support. It's going to be such a shock. It's so much to take. I mean, we've had years to be able to process things and see things and be able to anticipate things, whereas other people genuinely haven't. And I think they're going to be in for a hell of a shock.
Should we have a couple of funnies, Debbie?
Oh, let's.
To end the show. I want to thank everybody again that's joined us for the stream today, and we've tried to get through as best as we got. I've got a couple of funnies. I've got the one that you sent me, but I thought I'd play this one because it's very apt on what's going on. So if you don't mind, we'll start with this. But thanks again, guys, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And also, just to say very quickly that it is only Ant and I. Okay, and we're not in this for any kind of buy me a coffee or financial remuneration. We're not. We hope the channel takes off and maybe one day it might be monetized, but that's not what we're doing this for. We're doing this genuinely because we care. We don't have any skin in the game, but it is just us. And if there's something special that you'd like us to talk about, or there's points that you'd like to, please join us. Please share the content. Please like, because it helps the channel a lot. And we're just literally chugging along, doing our little bit.
So we'll see you all, everyone next week. But let's end with a couple of funnies. This one is funny, but it's also, it's dark humor at the end of the day. It's relative to what's going on right now.
Welcome back to Is It War? World War I. War. Correct. World War II. War. Correct. The Vietnam War. Authorized counteroffensive. Don't worry, we get right back on track with the Korean War. War. No, that was police action. No, they had tanks and stuff. Well, the police have tanks now, don't they, Carl? Okay, the First and Second Iraq War. War. They identify as military action. It's a bit like pronouns, except we kill people. All right, how about Libya? War. I'm sorry, that was kinetic action, not a war. Venezuela. Well, it was an act of war, I think. No, I'm sorry, that was a law enforcement operation, not a war. Iran. It's a war. We're doing war things. No, not war things. Preemptive retaliatory de-escalation action. No, that's not a thing. All right, judges. Okay, how about the war on terrorism? War. No, it was a coalition-led conditional operation. How about Afghanistan? Afghanistan was the war on terror. No, I'm sorry. That was a pre-authorized defense stabilization initiative. Okay, can somebody tell me the rules here? War on poverty, Carl. Well, poverty? That's not even a thing. I'm sorry, I hate to do this to you. It was a trick question. We don't have poverty in the United States. The Dow went up to 50,000. Couldn't even get that high. Amazing. Don't even worry about the Epstein files. War on Christmas. The coffee cup thing? No, that's not a war. It is a war for the soul of the nation and whether or not I can wish my children Merry Christmas. Okay, you know what? I quit. I don't want to do this anymore. Today's magical phrase, Carl, you just became a United States Congressman. Congratulations, Representative Carl. Merry Christmas. It's March. Well, okay, happy Hanukkah.
And how about your video that you sent me, the
little cute dot that's depriving many people of jobs, folks. This is what's coming down your street sometime soon.
Would you not want your pizza delivered this way, Debbie?
No thanks. I wouldn't want pizza, full stop.
Let's put this on then. The DoorDash.
Yeah.
Here it comes, folks. It's the DoorDash dot. Hi, over here. Wrong side of the road. Over here. Come over here. All right, folks. My first experience with DoorDash dot. Hi. Hi. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Takes a lot of jobs, but it's awesome. Pizza. Do you gotta tip him? Do you have to tip him? No tipping. Life sucks for you, dude. Okay. Okay, close it. Okay. I know it's gonna take off. Bye. Bye-bye, DoorDash guy. See you around. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Go. You can go now. You can go now. You've been here too long.
Scary.
Really scary, isn't it?
Did you ever think when you were younger and you had the Jetsons on and stuff like that, you were going to end up living in the Jetsons time? It's mental, isn't it?
No, but that's it. You see, science fiction has now become science fact.
Hasn't it just?
Hasn't it just?
Right, Debbie.
What in the next week, eh?
Could be anything, couldn't it? Right. Lots of love, Debbie. See you next